Hey guys, it's Ben here from the Strength Factory, and I'm back on the Zwift in the garage. We're going to be hitting another FTP test today and giving you some of my thoughts and findings, having been using Zwift for about 6 weeks now. As you may have seen, back a couple of weeks into January, it was really cold, it was wet, my fitness was not where it's supposed to be, so I bit the bullet. I went indoors, got Zwift, hooked up the gravel bike to the Wahoo Kickr and did a very disappointing FTP test, well, ramp test, sorry, which led to a very disappointing FTP score, which was possibly even worse because I was then ill for a few days afterwards, so I think I'll give myself a little bit of an excuse. But anyway, I wanted to give a bit of an update on how it's gone. And as a new person to Zwift, but with both my coach's head on and my rider or athlete head on, as in a consumer of Zwift, because I'm paying for it just like everyone else, is the good, the bad, the ugly. And we're also going to retest on the ramp test and see hopefully some solid progress over the last 6 weeks. So my Vitus Substance gravel adventure bike, whatever you call it, has got a single chainring, which is cool. It's actually fine for all my riding, but what it does mean is that when I'm doing the free ride on Zwift, where I just want to go and get some easy aerobic base miles in, and I don't want to smash myself, and I'm not using erg mode, it does mean that sometimes, you start to spin out a bit, and so you have to shift gears, and you quite often end up in your hardest gear, and you're wishing you had more. Because basically I think that their algorithms are set up a bit more for a road bike with a double chain set and then a lot taller gearing, which would work. So it would be good if there was some way of adjusting the difficulty in game, basically, so I could just work in the middle of my cassette with a nice straight quiet chain line when I'm on free ride. Which links to the next point. It's actually quite difficult, and there aren't any preset just aerobic rides. What are you doing, Zwift? I know that they want to make it fun and gamify it, but if performance is the name of the game, then any cyclist knows that performance is built on an aerobic base of fitness. And you go in there and you can do free ride with varying degrees of hills and try and use your heart rate to stay aerobic, but what you can't do, unless you build your own workout, is just set up an aerobic ride on erg mode or something similar, where you just sit at 180 watts or whatever your aerobic power is. And I think that's a bit silly. So I have made my own workout now, and it does work, but come on Zwift, just give us the basics. So I've got a few other thoughts then. Number one, my wife has threatened to divorce me if I walk through the house in bib shorts. So there's going to be no more of that post Zwift, dripping sweat on the kitchen floor while she's gone. Other things are just, you want to make it, like any training, as easy as possible, so that there's as little friction as possible. So I think I mentioned it in the first video, but I got myself another cassette. So I've got a cassette on the turbo and a cassette on my wheel, so that if I go outdoors or indoors, it's only ever a 1 minute job to switch over. And now, if we talk about the workouts on Zwift, I don't want to be negative, because I have quite enjoyed the experience here, and it's got me training on days and times when I otherwise wouldn't train, and I think I'm fitter off for it. Having said that, I think that with the workouts built into Zwift, there's a real element of gamification and just trying to make it entertaining, and as a result I look at them and they're overcomplicated. and they mostly do not resemble the sort of training sessions that I prescribe for my athletes or my everyday trail riders. There's too much going on. They have all, like, rather than just a set work and rest, loads of them that have like varying, you know, there's too much variety in there, and so like every rep the rest is decreased a little bit, 5 seconds. Well, come on, 5 seconds, who cares? Don't bother. Just give me work and rest. And they'll often have like random periods of other physical qualities, and it's like, just give me, say this session is to work on one physical quality, and give me the intervals that will help me to improve that, okay? Rather than all this variety, which might keep it interesting, it might keep people riding, but doesn't really resemble the sort of training that good riders and good coaches are doing or prescribing, as far as I'm concerned, unless I've just been doing it wrong all this time. In the last 6 weeks, Zwift seems to think that I've done over 250 kilometers, which frankly I think is nonsense. And I think it's just part of this thing where it wants you to feel good, and so it just ramp up the numbers. I mean, look, I know it's a computer game and it's not real, and there's wind and, you know, blah, blah, all this stuff. But when I look at how the duration that I've been riding, and if I, in total, and if I was to put that duration actually on the roads near me, I think it'd be nowhere near that. But at the end of the day, at least it's consistent and it is what it is. So I've just started the 160 watt ramp, and yeah, I've got it in nice gear, nice quiet chain line. Erg mode is kind of doing the rest. It jumps around a little bit, but it seems to get there in the end. And yeah, got the heart rate strap, the links to Bluetooth on the phone. Currently 111 beats per minute. When I'm not chatting, just trying to breathe through my nose. Stay relaxed. Just started 200 watts. Heart rate's up 122. And someone called Jay Tonkin just gave me a thumbs up. This is the current situation. Going through a tunnel. It's pretty cool. I'm in some sort of desert land, and yeah, we're sitting about where we want to be. It just seems to take a little while for the average to catch up, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just sitting at 240 watts, which is what Zwift thought my FTP was last time. So yeah, doesn't feel super hard, so hopefully that's a good sign. Just started 280 watts. Heart rate 146. I do run pretty low though. Resting's low. My max is only about 165. It's just how I am. Oh, done. FTP 260. That's a bit better. Oh god. Oh. Why do we do this for fun? Okay, so 6 weeks in, bit of indoors riding, structured, a bit of outdoors riding, structured, and a fair bit of just unstructured mountain biking with my mates, which is what, you know, most of us do most of the time. And I've made a bit of progress there, and I'm quite pleased actually. Yeah, I'd like to be maxing out the ramp test at 400 plus watts, but actually I completed the 360 watt ramp, and so that bumps the FTP up to 260 according to Zwift and their algorithm at least, and I'm a kilo lighter. So previously my watts per kilo for FTP was 2.9 and now 3.2, and actually, you know, that's pretty good progress in 6 weeks. And I've not been out here like smashing it every night. You know, at one point there was a full week where I didn't come out here, the weather was nice, and it just goes to show that, you know, if you are fairly consistent and train smart and do the right things, that you can make progress. And for me, like, I don't think I'm going to be one of these people who gets addicted to Zwift. It's not going to be the be all and end all, doing races and all that stuff. I mean, I might be proved wrong, but it's definitely a tool that I'm glad I've got in my arsenal. So as I'm approaching the race season, when the weather's crap, I think I'm going to be in here on the Zwift getting points to get secret jerseys and jazzy cycling shoes. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Hopefully I'll be back soon with more watts. If you enjoyed this video, if you like looking at sweaty men in bib shorts, make sure you like and subscribe, alright? Cheers!